where light and darkness blurred, and the rules of reality bent to his will. In this twilight space, Oberon's power was diminished, unable to fully pierce the shadows that danced at the edges of existence. Arkayon used the moment to strike, sending a wave of destructive energy rippling through the twilight, distorting space itself and pushing Oberon back. Oberon staggered, his radiant form flickering. The shield of light he had created faltered for just a moment, long enough for Arkayon to press the attack. Entropy flowed from his hands like dark tendrils, wrapping around Oberon, seeking to unravel him at the very core of his being. For the first time in millennia, Oberon felt true fear. But the leader of the Sons of the Light was not so easily undone. With a surge of effort, he gathered the remnants of his strength, channeling the purest form of creation. Light exploded from him in every direction, a supernova of brilliance that forced Arkayon to retreat from the overwhelming force. Reality itself seemed to stabilize for a moment, as if the universe were taking a breath, teetering on the edge of balance once more. Oberon, his form glowing brighter than ever, advanced. "I cannot allow you to tear the universe apart," he said, his voice steady and filled with resolve. "You do not understand the consequences of your actions." Arkayon snarled, his eyes burning with fury. "You speak as if the universe belongs to you, but creation without end is stagnation. Destruction is just as necessary. I am the balance, Oberon. You—" He gestured with one hand, and the Twilight realm pulsed with his will. "You are its cancer." Again the two forces clashed, the Twilight realm around them cracking and splitting under the pressure of their battle. But Arkayon's patience had run thin. He could sense that Oberon was weakening. The years of doubt and decay Arkayon had sown among the Sons of the Light had done their work. The mighty leader of the light was no longer the invincible being he had once been. With one final push, Arkayon unleashed his full power. He tore apart the Twilight realm itself, collapsing the space between realities and dragging them both into a place where neither light nor darkness held sway. Here, in the void between existence, the very fabric of creation was undone. Stars winked out. Entire worlds ceased to exist, consumed by Arkayon's will. Oberon's light flickered again, and for the first time it began to dim. "I am the Twilight," Arkayon whispered, his voice echoing through the collapsing void. "I am the end and the beginning. You cannot stop me, Oberon." Oberon fell to one knee, the weight of the void pressing down upon him. His light, once so pure, so unbreakable, was fading, swallowed by the entropy that Arkayon had become. With one last desperate effort, Oberon reached out toward the pillar of creation, seeking to draw upon its ancient power, the essence of creation itself. But Arkayon was faster. With a flick of his hand, he severed the connection between Oberon and the pillar. The light that had once filled the universe with life and beauty flickered one last time, then went out. Arkayon stood over the fallen form of Oberon, his body now a shadow of the brilliant being he had once been. The pillar of creation, the very anchor of the cosmos, cracked and crumbled, its power drained by Arkayon's will. The universe itself seemed to shudder, as if it knew the balance had been tipped. The dogs of darkness gathered around their leader, each reveling in the destruction they had wrought. Varnak laughed as chaos spread unchecked through the realms. Keroth grinned as time itself began to fray at the edges, decay seeping into every corner of existence. Nargol spread his pestilence, and Zelthor bathed the universe in fear and shadow. For a moment, the cosmos hung in silence. The light was gone. The Sons of the Light had been defeated, their cities reduced to dust, their creations undone. Arkayon raised his hands, and the darkness swirled around him, enveloping him in power. He had done it. He had destroyed the light, claimed the power of creation for himself, and now the universe would bend to his will. He was no longer just the bringer of entropy. He was its master. "I am the Twilight," Arkayon whispered again, his voice reverberating through the empty void. "I'm the dawn of a new age." The consequences of victory. But as Arkayon stood triumphant, something stirred in the void, a presence, a force, older than even the foundations of eternity. It was the essence of the cosmos itself, a primal force that had existed before light and darkness, before creation and destruction. It watched, silent and eternal, as Arkayon gazed upon his victory. And slowly, ever so slowly, Arkayon realized the truth. In destroying the light, in unbalancing the universe, he had not become its master. He had become its undoing. The void whispered to him now, its cold voice filling his mind. The universe could not exist without balance. Light and dark, creation and destruction, they were intertwined, bound together in an eternal dance. By destroying one, Arkayon had set into motion a chain of events that even he could not control. As the void began to creep into the very fabric of reality, Arkayon saw his mistake. The universe itself was unraveling. Without the light, without the balance, all things would end. "No!" Arkayon roared, trying to reassert his control, but it was too late. The power he had sought, the dominion he had craved, was slipping through his fingers. The universe began to collapse around him, stars winking out, planets crumbling into nothingness. The celestial dogs of darkness, once reveling in their destruction, now watched in horror as the cosmos they had fought to control began to fade into the void. Arkayon fell to his knees, his hands reaching out in desperation. He had won. He had defeated Oberon, but in his victory he had doomed all of existence. And as the last spark of light faded from the universe, Arkayon realized the terrible truth. In his desire for dominion, he had destroyed the very thing he had sought to rule. The twilight was gone. All that remained was the void, and in the end even Arkayon could not escape its embrace. The end of all things. As the universe collapsed into nothingness, the void consumed all, light and dark, creation and destruction, life and death. And in that final moment there was no triumph, no victory. There was only silence and the eternal empty void.